Hi, I'm NBC 10 First Alert Meteorologist Bill Henley. Welcome to Weather Education Week from Citizens Bank Park. We've had so many great weather education days when you could join us in the ballpark. But with COVID, we're online once again, which is great because you'll be able to watch the lessons all week long and try out the experiments yourself. And we want to see them too. If you do an experiment, take some video, take some pictures, and share it with us through the NBC 10 app. We may even put it on TV. Today I've got a great experiment for you. We're going to learn how to make this. It's a hovercraft. Then you can make it home with a CD or a DVD, a pop-up soap top, a balloon, and some glue. You'll need that to hold it all together. What are we discussing with the hovercraft? Today we're talking about wind. Wind is the movement of air, and it's a big part of weather. From a cool summer breeze to cool you down, to a strong, gusty thunderstorm wind that can bring down trees and cause power outages. Or how about a cold wind during the winter that'll bring in snow, might even close school. Nobody wants to see that, right? Okay, wind can also impact baseball players on the field. Let's find out what the pros think about wind.
A windy day could be really impactful on a baseball game. From the defense, having maybe some trouble with fly balls and pop-ups. The ball tends to dance with the wind. And then offensively, if the wind is blowing in, it could affect the flight of the ball and it not go as far. Or if it's blowing out, it could make the ball go a little bit further, which we love as hitters.
Wind plays a huge factor in games because if it is blowing in, as we saw in a early April game this year in Philadelphia, here in Philadelphia with the Phillies, balls were high in the air and they were launched, and guess what? They blew back and they were outs. They should have been home runs. Bryce Harper should have had 2 more home runs, but they weren't. As an infielder, and you see a fly ball go up in the air and it's in the outfield and the wind's howling in and you have no idea, you have to go out or else you're going to be the guy that's standing with your back and the ball lands right behind you. Never had that experience, I swear. But the wind is just a killer.
Let's talk about what causes wind. Wind begins with the air being warmed by the sun, which causes the air to rise. Think of a hot air balloon rising into the sky. As the air rises, this reduces the air pressure on the ground. Cold air does the opposite. When air cools, it gets heavier and falls towards the earth. This puts more pressure on the ground. Wind is created when there is a difference in air pressure. High pressure forces air to move towards areas of low pressure. And it's that movement of the air that is wind. Wind is an essential part of the weather. Wind can be light and gentle or strong and destructive. Let's harness the wind with this fun hovercraft project that you can make at home. All right, let's put our project together. We'll leave the balloon here. We'll start off with the top and the CD or the DVD. Now, I've found that if you use a nail file or a little sandpaper to scrub it up a little ahead of time, that makes for a better gluing process to hold it all together. You don't have to do this a lot, and maybe even isn't totally necessary. So we're going to glue this top onto right over the center of the CD, and that leaves the hole exposed so the air can rush through that and create our hovercraft. So the key to this is putting a little bit of glue all around the base of the top. So when we glue it to the CD, that seal is airtight because we don't want any air to escape between the top and the CD. We want the air to escape from the bottom and cause your hovercraft to hover. All right, so stick it right on there. Now this is hot glue, so it doesn't take very long to set up. But let that glue dry, and when it's dry, then we can make the hovercraft move. Now the key to the power for the hovercraft is wind. And we're going to create that wind with this balloon. First, let me make some high pressure. All right, there I did it. Inside the balloon, the pressure of the air is greater than it is on the outside. So maybe you've done this at home. When you start to let the air out, the air rushes out the end of the balloon. Well, that's a little bit of wind. How about that? Pretty good, huh? We just created wind. Let's do it again. We got the high pressure in the balloon. This time I'm just going to let it go. Let's see what happens. Whoa! Oh, did you see that? The air blew that way, the balloon went that way. It was an opposite and equal reaction. We're going to use that not only right now, but in our afternoon lesson today. Hey, looks like our glue is holding pretty good. I think it's time to try this hovercraft out. I'll blow up the balloon one more time, make that high pressure. I've got the high pressure in the balloon ready to go, and the air, as we've seen before, is going to rush out of there, creating wind as soon as I let go. But this time, I'm going to attach it to our hovercraft that we made. I'm going to put it right on this pop-up top. Now it's open, so as soon as I release that, the air will start rushing out the bottom, and on this table, we'll see our hovercraft go in motion. Now, if I try to move it right now, it doesn't do much, does it? That's because this is encountering friction. Friction is resistance between two surfaces. In this case, it's our hovercraft and it's the table. When we use air as a cushion, it will buffer and make that resistance much lower. So here we go. Are you ready? Oh, look at that. Whoop. You might have to try more than one balloon. And if you have a friend, you can even race them and see whose goes farther. Let's try this one out. Whoa, that one's fast. Once you've figured out how to make this, you can share this knowledge with your family and friends. You never know who's going to stop by for some fun. Oh, look who it is! Ah, there you go. Whoa. Just invented a hovercraft game. Oh! I think I scored! Here's some fascinating wind facts. The highest wind gusts ever recorded in Philadelphia, 94 miles an hour. That's almost as fast as the fastest baseball ever pitched, 105 miles an hour. Winds can be very dangerous. Damage typically occurs with winds gusting 50 to 60 miles an hour or more. In fact, straight line wind damage can hit speeds of up to 100 miles an hour for long distances. A derecho is a line of thunderstorms that produce damaging winds across a span of at least 250 miles. We had one last summer. Look at the damage from those storms. It's hard to believe this was all done with the movement of air. Hope you had fun making this hovercraft. It's an easy project that shows some interesting principles about the weather. Now, if you make it, we'd like to see it. Take some pictures, make a video, and share it on NBC10.com or through the NBC10 app. Now, this was kind of all about motion. It was moving all about the table. And we're going to talk more about motion in the second lesson. That's 2 o'clock this afternoon on NBC10.com. We're talking Isaac Newton's laws of motion. I'll see you then.